Welcome, everyone. This is Equipped to Lead, your leadership transformation podcast. We believe in transforming ordinary people into great leaders. Have you ever thought, there's got to be more to leadership? You're not alone. Here, we unlock your potential with powerful insights, explore the journeys of everyday leaders, and help you lead with impact. We delve into the how, and more importantly, the why of impactful leadership. Join inspiring leaders and experts in each episode as we equip you with practical tools for success, no matter your experience level. Visit equippedtolead.me and be part of the movement to transform lives through leadership. And here is your host, Denis Ekobena.
Welcome to Equipped to Lead, and this is our leadership podcast. Your host is Denis Ekobena, and our goal is to give you leadership inspiration that will help you lead from the inside out. So today I'm so excited, I'm super excited because we have all the way from Nigeria. And I also have some people in the studio right now. So his name is Mr. Benga Samuel. He is the national coordinator for Equip Nigeria. He is also a project manager. He is also an author of several books. I'm going to let Mr. Benga introduce himself. I'm so happy. Benga, welcome to Cameroon.
Thank you, my brother. How far?
Welcome to the land of opportunities.
Oh, I'm so happy to be in Cameroon. It's my first time here in Cameroon.
Yeah.
And I'm truly happy. I'm hoping that I would leave Cameroon being able to speak French fluently.
Okay, bonjour. We have Emmanuel Gobon. She teaches French. How to learn French in 1 week.
In fact, 4 days. I don't have 1 week. I just have 4 days.
I know there's something you're passionate about is leadership.
Yeah.
And that's why you're here to help us in Cameroon to develop Equip Cameroon. So before we go into talking about what Equip is all about, and this podcast is about leadership, hopefully we can inspire people who are going to listen to us from around the world. So one of the things we've been talking about from last night is that leaders ask great questions.
Yes.
And you encourage us as leaders who must be able to ask questions, but from questions we can learn. I want you to throw light on that a little bit.
Absolutely. Leaders ask great questions. I heard that first from John C. Maxwell, and he's actually written a book that speaks about that. And I believe that as leaders, one of the key things we need to do is to be able to navigate for the people that we lead. You're only a leader if you can show the way for others. And one way to do that is to think deeply about what you're doing and ask certain questions that would help you provide a clear path forward. And those questions are really important. There are many questions to ask, but last night we talked about 3 key questions that leaders must ask. And I was also sharing my experience in my work life, how when I got employed in a particular place 10 years ago, one of the first things I did was to ask my boss, my CEO, why did you employ me?
Why did you employ me?
I wanted to know because there were many other people that applied for the job. I wanted to find out from her what was the thing you saw in me that made you to pick me. And the second question I asked was, what do you want me to do? What would make me keep this job? What would make you happy seeing me on the job? And those 2 questions helped me to clearly understand what the assignment was. And I think that as we progress in the various things that we do in life, when we ask the right questions, it provides clarity for us.
So leaders ask questions, and this is very important for each one of us, because sometimes some leaders don't speak up. They are shy, they are timid, and they feel that their questions are dumb. I don't think there's any dumb question.
You must be willing to admit that you don't know, you don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
And so it's when you ask questions that you can actually get those answers.
Definitely, leaders ask great questions. They ask questions because it's through the question that they can improve themselves, like you just said. So there are 2 questions you asked. Number 1 was, why did you employ me? What were you hoping to learn from that question?
I wanted to be clear about it, and I wanted to understand the one thing she saw in me that made her pick me, because I was in an interview and she actually was part of the panel.
Yeah.
I wanted to see, what did you see in me? Why did you pick me above other people? In the Christian faith, we say I was favored. The favor of God was that's great, but beyond that, that favor identifies with something that God has put in you.
Exactly.
So I wanted to be able to pinpoint it and say, okay, this is it, and this is then what I need to do to keep improving.
And the next question was, what do you want me to do? So I want to know her expectations for you.
Exactly. If we don't have expectations, if we don't know what the objectives are, then it's difficult for you to measure if you're making progress or if you're not making progress.
Exactly. So if you're listening to us wherever you are, and if you get a job next time you get hired, I think those are two great questions you can ask your employer, your leader, or your boss. You can ask them, why did you pick me for this job? They can talk about the potential you saw in you, or maybe your character. Also, you can build on it. And then the next is, what do you expect from me? Job description. What are the things you want me to do? We're going to 2024, and many people, they write resolutions, they put down goals and objectives, and few don't accomplish it. Last night, we talked about 3 important questions every person must ask themselves, whether it's a team or organization, as they move forward. I want us to go into those 3 questions this hour.
Yeah, absolutely. The first question that we talked about was, what would bring us greater results?
What would bring us greater results?
As you think about yourself as an individual, as a company, as someone who is leading other people, whether it's in the corporate sector or wherever you lead people, that's a question you need to start asking yourself as you look into the new year. What will bring us greater results in 2024? And that question is important because hard work does not necessarily bring great results. So you can be working very hard, or you're working hard at the wrong things.
Exactly.
Yeah, so as you reflect on 2023 and as you plan for the new year, that's something that you need to truly think about. What do I need to invest more in? Where do I need to put in more effort?
Exactly.
What do I need to start? What do I need to stop? What do I need to do more of? What do I need to do less of that will bring me greater result? And when you think deeply about that question, you'll be able to truly identify where you need to put in more focus.
And that's good, because on 2028 we have a leadership meeting, and that's one of the things I've put down to ask my team to do our strategic plan for 2024 is, what do we need to stop doing as a church or as a community, as an organization, and what should we keep on doing? In fact, when we look at last year, we saw that this was what that gave us more results. So what should we keep on doing? I think everyone should ask that question in their personal life. There's some things that you must definitely stop doing.
Absolutely. And let me just say that activity does not bring result. That you were busy in 2023 doesn't mean that you got the result. So sometimes we enjoy the motion of being busy, being very busy with activities, but you need to do a check. Did I get the results from those activities?
That's powerful. That's powerful. John Maxwell said the same thing, that hard work will always beat no work, but smart work will always beat hard work. So maybe you're working so hard, it is time for you to evaluate and see what brings the greatest result. And we said that was a question of what? It was a question of?
That's a question of strategy.
Of strategy.
Because you want to be able to identify, am I applying the right strategy, or do I need to change it?
Thank you so much. I think it's very important. It's true that we have God as Christians, we pray, we believe in the Holy Spirit. But why do some Christians have issue when it comes to strategy? It's like, Holy Spirit leads me. Holy Spirit is the best teacher. Strategy is nothing, need God. So why do Christians really don't take time to strategize?
It's unfortunate because yes, we have that capacity. We have that God-given capacity. God has placed us as a co-creator. So God gave us, for example, wood. God gave us trees.
Exactly.
He did not give us the chairs we're sitting on.
Oh, okay.
He gave us the capacity to
make chairs.
Any faith that depends solely on God to make things and to create results, I would like to say that it's an irresponsible faith.
Wow.
When you're depending solely on God to do it.
But you are from Nigeria, and you're the one teaching us this. This give the money, everything will happen.
No, it must be faith and action. So yes, God has blessed us. God has gone ahead of us in 2024. But God also expects us to take action.
Okay, let's go to question number 2. So the first question we should ask ourselves, my audience, what's the first question? The question of what? Of strategy. What brings us the greatest what? Result. So Mr. Benga, what is the next question you think that every leader needs to ask themselves?
Yeah, I think the second question is a question that speaks to potential.
To potential.
And it says, what's the farthest we can get?
What's the farthest we can get?
Yes, and I love this question because as we look into the new year, we need to challenge ourselves from thinking about where we are now and how far can we get. And this is also a question of visioning. Leaders must be able to cast a vision for the people. You're leading a group of people, no matter how small. You're leading a team, you're leading an organization. You're even leading your family. So as a family person, you must be able to cast a vision for that family and ask yourself, what's the farthest I can take this family?
Exactly.
What's the farthest we can get? And it speaks to your potential. It helps you to begin to envision how far you can go from where you are. And that's going to really challenge you, because you see that no matter what you've done, I like to say that the best of God is always in the future. So no matter what you've done till now, there's
still more.
There's still more. And so it helps you to realize that there's more to do, and you just need to wake up and keep moving.
So how far can I go in my education? How far can I go in my career? How far can I go in my family? One of the things I was thinking going far in my family was really to challenge my son, who is 14 years old, to get into computer programming and doing websites and making flyers. And I felt that if he's talented at that age, he can have the potential to go far. I learned those things when I was about 24, 25. So it's true that it helped me when I was in college in the US to pay some bills. But I think that he can go far. And so that's something you can do in your own family. Look at your kids, how far can they go? We don't really exploit the potential that's in us. Is there any practical advice you can give to someone who does not know the potential they have in them?
I think what you're saying about the family is really very important, because if as parents, we don't cast that vision for our children, we're limiting their potential. We're limiting where they can get. John Maxwell calls it the law of the lead.
Yes.
That leadership cannot rise above the effectiveness of the leader.
Exactly.
So it's so important for parents to be able to cast that vision. And it resonates with me because just last week, my son, for the first time, participated in a swimming competition. They had a swimming gala in his school, and he was on the list for free stroke 25 meters.
Wow.
And it was a big moment for me, because when he was about 4 or 5 years old, I made sure that he started swimming early, because I didn't start swimming early. So
Black men can swim, eh?
I was very intentional to make sure that he started early. And I used to say to him, you're going to compete for your school.
Wow.
You're going to go to London there's a games that happens in London. You're going to be there. You're going to compete for your school. And every time they say, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to learn. But I kept challenging him to do it. And this is the first time he would compete. I wasn't bothered about what his position was.
Yeah.
I said to him before the race that you are participating. I'm proud of you.
Wow.
And that's a vision I want to cast for him now. The next thing is to push him to keep honing his skills and be able to represent the school. So it's so important. That vision, he's 9 now. I casted that vision for him when he was about 4 or 5, that you're going to represent the school. You're going to do this. So it's so important that as we talk about that second question, what's the farthest? As parents, we must cast that vision for our children.
What is the farthest? So welcome one more time. If you're joining us, it's Equipped to Lead, a leadership podcast with Denis Ekobena and Benga Samuel from Nigeria. And I want to challenge each one of us. Maybe in your own personal life, you feel you're backward, you feel you're not advancing, but every human being has a potential. How far can you go in 2024? Maybe you can take down pen, piece of paper and start writing. Maybe, okay, how far am I going to go in my career, my education? How far am I going to go in my studies, in reading books? How far am I going to go in my presentation as a leader? Many people think that sometimes education is a waste of time, or training and going to school, because maybe they're not using it at that moment. And I feel some people listening to us might be like, I've done this training, I don't want to train anymore because I don't see the opportunity. What can you say to those people who are not seeing the opportunities now and they are resisting development in their potential?
Yeah, the wise man said that the best time to plant a tree is 25 years ago.
Okay.
And the second best time is now.
Wow.
Is now. So regardless of where you are in your education journey, your career journey, you need to start making that investment now, because growth must be intentional.
Yes.
If you want to see progress, if you want to be able to achieve those results, then you have to take the responsibility to grow and be intentional about it.
Oh, yes.
And it's never late to start.
It's never late. So I challenge you. I can't tell you how many seminars and conferences I went to before I saw my first big breakthrough. Sometimes I'm so loaded with potential. And the word potential, I don't like it, because some people can die with it. You have so much in you, but you did nothing.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is that we need to cast the dimension of how far we can go. So I don't want us to go above our 20 minutes time. So what is the last question every great leader wants to ask themselves?
The last question is a commitment question. Now your potential, you've been able to envision that this is how far I can go. The last question is, what will it take for me to reach my potential?
What will it take for me to reach my potential?
And that's a commitment question. John Maxwell says that everything uphill, everything worthwhile is uphill. meaning that it's going to take something for you to get there. It's not just going to, unfortunately, it's not just going to drop on your lap.
Exactly.
In 2024, you have to work for it. You have to put in the effort that is required. So you need to know, what will it take for me in terms of time? What will it take in terms of resources?
Time, resources.
Investment. What am I going to spend my money on in making sure that I grow in 2024?
Yeah. Everything you got to say, you must be engaged in it. You must be committed to it. There's no vision that will come easy. You need to do it every day. I'm really excited because if we can ask these great questions in our personal life and organization, I believe they'll not be the same again. So Benga, before we round up, any last words concerning leaders ask great questions, apart from the 3 questions you just gave us?
I think it's to take action. We can ask these questions, and these questions would help us to come up with some form of clear action plan. But what's most important is
The doing.
the doing. That nothing changes until we take action. So I think as we think about 2024, I want to challenge our listeners, make sure you're a doer.
Beautiful. So, don't forget, you must ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, what brings me the greatest results? What is that capacity that I can do? What can I do? How can I strategize to have more results in 2024? Number 2 is the capacity, the potential you have in you. What's the farthest I can go? And number 3, of course, is the commitment and the engaging question. What do I need to do to get those results? So thank you so much for listening to us. This has been Denis Ekobena, your host for Equip to Lead. And make sure you subscribe, you tune in for our next podcast. Because the audience gave me a big whoo. Thank you, guys. See you. Don't forget, it's time to grow.